A train pulls into a station. Right on schedule, engine running, lights on, doors open, nobody gets off. Not because the train is empty, but because every passenger who boarded it is simply gone. No wreckage, no struggle, no explanation, just seats and silence. This has happened more than once. In Japan, a woman boarded a routine commute train and was never seen again. In the Soviet Union, a government signalman filed an official report about a ghost train that appeared on a track that hadn't been used in years, and nobody on the inside ever explained what he saw. And in Italy, over 100 passengers boarded a luxury train in broad daylight, and vanished so completely that to this day, not one of them has ever been identified or found. 3 trains, 3 countries, 3 disappearances with no rational explanation. What happened to these people? Where did they go? And why, after decades of investigation, does the answer still feel completely out of reach? Case 1. Kisaragi Station, Japan, 2004. Let's start in Japan. Because this case is different from the others, it happened in real time, and it was witnessed by hundreds of people, all of them helpless. In January 2004, a young woman, known online only as Hasumi, boarded a routine commuter train from Shin Hamamatsu Station in Shizuoka Prefecture. She'd taken this train countless times before. Short ride, familiar stops, home in 20 minutes. But the train didn't stop. It kept moving, past her station, past the next one, into territory she didn't recognize. So she did what anyone in 2004 would do. She opened her phone and posted about it on a Japanese internet forum, asking for help. What followed was one of the most documented disappearances in modern history, played out in real time, in public, one post at a time. Forum users watched as Hasumi described the train traveling for over an hour without stopping, passing through a tunnel that shouldn't have existed on that line. When it finally slowed, it pulled into a station. The sign read, Kisaragi Station, a name that appeared on no map, no railway schedule, no official record anywhere in Japan. The station was empty, unmanned, no staff, no other passengers, just dark. Forum users urged her to get back on the train, but the train left while she was still writing her reply. What happened next came through in fragmented posts, a drum sound growing louder from somewhere in the darkness, an old man with one leg who appeared on the tracks and then vanished, Hasumi running through a tunnel in the dark and injuring herself, a stranger offering help, and then one final message. My battery is almost gone. Things are getting strange. I think I'm going to run for it. After that post, Hasumi was never heard from again. No follow-up, no confirmation she made it home. No official missing person report was ever linked publicly to her disappearance. Japan's railway authorities were questioned. No fault was found on any line. No train was reported delayed or rerouted that night. No station matching the description exists anywhere in Shizuoka Prefecture. Hundreds of forum users witnessed this in real time. And no one, not the railway company, not investigators, not the internet community that spent years searching, has ever explained where Kisaragi Station is or where Hasumi went. Case 2. The Soviet Ghost Train, Ukraine, 1955. Now let's move to a case that didn't come from an internet forum. This one came from a government railway worker filing an official incident report. On the night of October 29, 1955, a railway signalman named Pyotr Ustimenko was on duty near Balaklava in Crimea, then part of the Soviet Union. His job was straightforward: monitor the tracks, log passing trains, flag anything unusual. That night, something unusual appeared. A steam locomotive emerged from the darkness, moving slowly along a stretch of track that, by every official record, was no longer in use. The train had 3 passenger carriages behind it. Old-fashioned, the kind not used in the Soviet Union for decades. The windows were covered. The driver's cabin appeared empty. Ustimenko checked his schedule. Nothing was listed. He checked again. Still nothing. He watched the train pass, then filed a report. Soviet railway officials investigated. They found no record of any authorized train using that line that night. No explanation for where it came from or where it went. The investigation was eventually closed without a conclusion, quietly buried, the way Soviet bureaucracy handled things it couldn't explain. But here's what makes this case genuinely unsettling. The description Ustimenko gave of that train, the engine, the 3 passenger carriages, the covered windows, matched documented descriptions of a train that had supposedly disappeared in Italy over 40 years earlier. A train we're about to get to. Case 3, the Zanetti train, Italy 1911, July 14, 1911. Rome, Italy. The Zanetti Railway Company had spent weeks promoting its newest luxury train, a gleaming locomotive with 3 passenger carriages, offering wealthy Italians a scenic journey from Rome to Milan. On launch day, they invited passengers to ride for free. 100 people accepted. 6 crew members were on board. The train departed on schedule. Violins played. Champagne was poured. The Italian countryside rolled past the windows. Then the train approached the Lombardy Tunnel, a half-kilometer passage cut directly through a mountain. A crowd had gathered on both sides to watch the new locomotive pass through. The train entered the tunnel. It never came out the other side. The crowd waited. The station on the other side waited. Railway officials rushed into the tunnel on foot, torches in hand, searching every inch of the passage. They found 2 passengers, collapsed near the tunnel entrance, barely conscious, unable to speak coherently. Everyone else, 100 passengers, 6 crew members, the entire train, was simply gone. No wreckage, no debris, no bodies. The tunnel was completely intact. There was no other exit. There was nowhere for a train to go. The 2 survivors were treated for shock, but in the days that followed, neither could give investigators a clear account of what happened inside that tunnel. Only fragments, white smoke, a strange sound, and then nothing. The investigation turned up nothing. The case was eventually shelved. So where did they go? That is the question that has followed all 3 of these cases across decades. And the honest answer, the one investigators in each case eventually had to accept, is that we don't know. But here's what's interesting. A decade after the Zanetti incident, a researcher digging through historical records in Mexico City made a strange discovery. A psychiatrist's report from the 1840s, 70 years before the Zanetti train existed, described over 100 confused, disoriented Italians being admitted to a hospital in Mexico City. They were found wandering. They couldn't explain how they got there. They kept referring to a train that left from Rome in 1840, decades before that train was built. Investigators later connected the number of patients in that report to the number of passengers on the Zanetti train exactly. And the Soviet signalman's description of the ghost train in 1955 matched the Zanetti locomotive precisely. Now, let's be honest about something. The Zanetti story has never been conclusively verified. Fact-checkers have found no surviving railway records, no passenger manifests, no Italian newspaper coverage from 1911. It's possible the whole thing is an elaborate legend, a story that grew and mutated over a century into something it wasn't. But here's the part that's harder to dismiss. Nobody has ever explained the 2 survivors. Nobody has explained the crowd of witnesses on both sides of that tunnel. And nobody, in over 100 years, has offered a rational explanation for what happened inside that mountain. And that brings us back to the thread connecting all 3 cases. Kisaragi Station was witnessed live by hundreds of people. The Soviet ghost train was documented in an official government report. And the Zanetti train, whether fully real or partly legend, has been reported, retold, and investigated for over a century without a single credible resolution. 3 trains, 3 countries, 3 sets of people who stepped onto a railway car and simply ceased to exist in the world they left behind. We understand bridges collapsing. We understand crashes. We understand the things that go catastrophically wrong. What we don't have a framework for is this: the quiet disappearance. The train that arrives exactly on time, with the lights still on, the seats still warm, and nobody inside. If any of these cases unsettles you the way it should, subscribe, because we're just getting started.